Hi, I'm Nicole Ferraro, and this is The Divide, a podcast from Light Reading exploring the ongoing digital divide, why and where it still exists, and what needs to be done to get people everywhere connected to reliable, high-speed internet. Today, I'm joined by Jeff Gehrig, Regional Vice President for Field Operations for Spectrum's Midwest region, and Jennifer Tucker of Tucker Farms, a family-run farm in Warren County, Kentucky. Tucker Farms is located in a part of the state where Spectrum has been building out as part of its multi-year, multi-billion-dollar rural construction initiative. We discuss the factors that brought Spectrum to the region where Tucker Farms is located, what internet connectivity on and around the farm was like prior to Spectrum's fiber deployment, why broadband access was important and what's possible now on the farm that wasn't possible before, as well as some takeaways and lessons learned from this particular deployment. Jennifer and Jeff, welcome to the podcast. Good morning. It's so nice to see you both. Great to meet you. We're going to get into a couple introductions here. So Jeff, why don't you introduce yourself and your role at Spectrum? And then Jennifer, please feel free to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about Tucker Farm.
Nicole, good morning. It's great to be here. Thank you for having us. And Jennifer, it's great to see you, and we appreciate your continued support in helping tell the story. My name's Jeff Gehrig. I'm the Regional Vice President for Spectrum's Field Operations for the Midwest region. My area covers 7 states. I have 3,800 field employees that construct and maintain our cable network, as well as the technicians that install and service products in homes.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jeff. Jennifer, please feel free to introduce yourself, but also tell us a bit about Tucker Farm. Tell us where you guys are located, how long you've been in the business, and a bit about your farm.
Awesome. Thank you for having me this morning. It's one of my favorite things is to tell our story and what we do and how we do it and why we do it. I married into a 4th generation family farm. It is currently on the farm, we grow corn, wheat, and soybeans commercially. We do not sell direct to consumer, but our corn makes whiskey to Jack Daniels and other Kentucky bourbons. So that's kind of a local, we like to kind of brag on that. Our soybeans and wheat, our wheat actually stays fairly local too and is turned into bread. So we have been farming this piece of ground since, we farm about 3,000 acres in 3 counties. It's full-time myself, my husband, and our oldest son, and then my 90-year-old father-in-law who started many, many years ago. He is still active on the farm, not as active as he once was, but we're very thankful for his help, and he's still very much, we see him every day, and he keeps us on our toes most of the time. But we are located in South Central Kentucky, about 45 minutes north of Nashville, in Bowling Green, and we're raising the next generation, and hopefully, that's the goal, is for them to love it as much as we do.
Fantastic. So, Jennifer, I'm going to stick with you for a minute because obviously this is a podcast about broadband and the digital divide. So we're here to talk about Spectrum basically coming to your region and your farm and how that's helped change life. But before we get there, let's go back to the past. I would like to know a bit more about what internet access was like for you guys on your farm and in the region prior to Spectrum coming in. Tell me a bit about the access that you did have, how you were getting the internet, and what you needed connectivity for at the time, and what was it like to actually try to get that connectivity?
Well, we really didn't have a lot of options. If we did, it was very slow. And so since the speeds weren't there, we didn't really fool with it. The technology within the farming industry has obviously been amazing over the last, I'd say 10, 15 years. And we didn't really ever run into an issue with internet until, some of our technicians were coming out and they were having to bring their own, portable internet devices and whatever. But prior to probably 2020, we had little to no option. And to give you a little where we're located geographically, Bowling Green is we sit in a county that's about the third largest county and the third largest city in Kentucky. We are only located about 7 miles outside the city limits. So we're considered rural, but in reality, I can be in Bowling Green, the center of Bowling Green, in about 15 minutes. So it was, most of the time, it was just frustrating that we didn't have options. So at our house, our shop is kind of the central where everything goes on with the farm. My house is 3 miles from here around the road, and we would use, we tried AT&T for a while. Sorry, I don't know if I'm supposed to name names, but we did try AT&T service for a while, and that would work most of the time. We then used satellite internet. Again, that worked, and it worked great for a while, but we just couldn't figure out why we didn't have another option. Why we, this close out of town, we were still kind of neglected in a way. And it wasn't just farms. We also sit in a very, like, our greatest concern is urbanization around our farm. So there's subdivisions, there's housing. So it's not like we're stuck out here in the middle of nowhere and it's just us. And we were the only ones complaining, that we didn't have access. So in 2020, when the world stopped and everything shut down and they figured out, these kids have to have access to go to school, and these people have to work from home now. So we have to figure out how to fix this issue. So legislators and a lot of people actually really pushed this initiative to get internet access to the quote unquote rural communities. And I think we finally started getting service was offered to us in late 21, early 22, if I remember correctly. And then after that, so for the farm, like I said, the technicians would bring their own internet. However, it kind of made us feel inadequate in a way because we had nothing to offer once you got out here. And if cell service was spotty, that was an issue. So then it also brought a couple of other issues. We started, when fuel prices were so high, we have fuel tanks on the farm. So are we going to come in one morning and have $2,000 worth of fuel stolen? Or, running a farm is definitely not inexpensive with equipment and all the tools. And so we were finally, once we had the internet, we were finally able to have cameras and a security system installed for a little peace of mind for ourselves. So that was a big, that was kind of our first leap as to why we need internet for sure.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you so much for that backstory. And I think you also point to, the fact that it's not just this rural digital divide. There are a lot of these pockets that are right outside cities that can't get internet access. So I'm going to come back to you in a little bit, Jennifer, to talk more about what it's been like since you guys actually got this access. But Jeff, coming over to you, I'd love to hear a bit more about this actual deployment that brought connectivity to this region. And so what led to Spectrum's decision to build out here? And were there any subsidies involved? Tell me a bit about the project timeline and anything else unique to this particular project.
Sure, yeah. So Jennifer's story highlights why broadband is so important for everyone, including rural America and specifically rural Kentucky. And Spectrum is proud to be the fastest growing rural internet provider in the nation, as well as the #1 rural internet provider in the nation. So the build to Jennifer's farm was part of the RDOF award, which we consider part of a broader rural construction initiative. Simply, it's a $7 billion private investment that we're making to connect more than 1.7 million homes and businesses. We're building 100,000 miles of fiber optic network across the country and making all of our services, broadband, video, mobile, available to customers. The uniqueness about building in rural America is that there are a lot less homes per mile. So when you think about suburban America, you could have 60 homes per mile. In rural America and Warren County specifically, where Jennifer is located, we're about 8 to 9 homes per mile. So the level of effort compared to the subscribers or the customers that you reach is much higher. And so it's been a process. We've been at it for a couple years. We have a lot more work to do, and we're excited to keep the momentum going.
Yes, and just to say, yeah, you guys are several years into this rural construction initiative, and I think ahead of schedule, if I'm keeping up with the the updates. And just quickly, when was this? When did you guys launch this network here?
In Warren County specifically,
yeah, or at least to the area where the farm is.
Jennifer was right. It was in 2022.
Okay, sorry, you guys already said that. Thank you. Okay, cool. Jeff, you alluded a little bit to the hurdles. Is it mostly about the fact that there are so few homes per mile, or are there terrain issues in this region too? Is any other hurdles you can reference?
It certainly varies area by area, and Kentucky is a unique state. So there's varied geography, sometimes difficult terrain, windy roads, narrow roads, rocky soil. The challenge is finding a place to put our infrastructure, and so it's either got to go in the air on poles, or it's got to go underground. Yeah. And so you've got to get access to poles where they're available. You might have to go underground. It may be a combination of both. So in addition, there's permitting processes. So you've got to get access to rights of way. You've got to think about things like road crossings, highway crossings, railroad crossings. And so, each mile of plant we extend comes with unique challenges. Every mile is different than the last.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. And I imagine weather is probably a consideration too. Is there a region that gets a fair amount of hurricanes? Do you have to think about that in terms of if you're deciding to go above or underground?
We do. Kentucky is located in a place that we can build typically year round. Every once in a while, ice might slow us down, or severe flooding might slow us down. Most recently, we had a lot of tornadic storms as well as floods in Kentucky that were significantly impactful. But typically, we power through those things and just keep working.
Got it. Okay, nice. One last thing for you, Jeff, before I come back to you. You indicated that this build out is still ongoing. So is this a section of Warren County that you guys are still building in?
We're still building a little bit of Warren County, and we've got construction going in nearby Simpson County, Butler County, and Allen County, as well as across the state. So we don't stop. Each time you build a line extension and you get deeper and deeper into America, it opens up opportunities to build the next section beyond that. So we don't stop. We're going to keep building.
Excellent. All right, Jennifer, coming back to you. I would love, so you mentioned, getting security cameras hooked up. That's a significant achievement on its own. But I'd love to hear more broadly about the impact of getting broadband access to the farm, how your day-to-day is different now. What can you do differently that you struggled to do before? And are there, what else is it making you think about that you could do? Are there advancements you hope to make in the future now that you have this connectivity that is stable and available?
So we've had internet here at the shop for a little while, and my office was at my house, and we also have Spectrum internet at our house. But one of the things it allowed us to do is to have an option to move my office to the shop. So there's 4 of us that are now partners on the shop. It's me, my husband, our oldest son, and our daughter-in-law. So having the office at the shop and it being central to where everybody works and comes, and we're here every day, that allows us to make better decisions. Like if I have a question about an invoice, I don't have to wait to bring it to the shop the next time I'm here or whatever. It's they're normally in the shop working, so I take 10 steps and I have my answer. It's the same thing for them when they decide, we need maybe this to think about this piece of equipment or whatever. We can pull up our data and our financials with a click of a mouse now versus, at one point I would have to go into town almost or connect to my cell phone in order to even have that access. So that's been a huge advantage with having Spectrum. And along those same lines is a lot of the data that's stored when we work in the tractors is stored through myjohndeere.com. So when we go on there prior to having internet access, we sure had access to that data. But again, we might have to go to a different location to access it. So within that data, it helps us make decisions as to what seed to plant the following year, what our yields were. It pulls up weather data on the day we harvest. So all of that data is important to the decisions that we make every day, the decisions that we make yearly. Ultimately it can save or cost us money depending on if we had access to that data or not. So that's been a huge difference for us. I think in the future, we built a new storage facility not far from the shop. And Spectrum runs through that part of the county as well. So I think in the future, what it will look like is my husband will be able to monitor those grain bins and that storage system through his phone, where, again, if that access wasn't available, that wouldn't even be an option. So really efficiency, security, and availability is what's been huge with Spectrum coming through. And we've since we've switched all of our cell phones to Spectrum, all of our internet is Spectrum. My father-in-law's TV is Spectrum. So I feel like I'm a walking Spectrum billboard at this point. But we've had great customer service. I think in one day they probably had my face in somebody's office saying, if this girl calls, don't answer her. But everyone has been just great at helping us get all this set up and organized, and so we're very thankful that we have that option.
You can call us anytime, Jennifer.
Yeah, I think you're doing great for Spectrum, honestly. A quick question for you, Jennifer. How does your 90-year-old father-in-law feel about a connected farm?
Well, I think my funniest story about him with any technology is for years, and when I say years, he was probably in his 80s before he got his first cell phone.
Oh my goodness.
And when we were talking to him about it, he's like, oh, I don't need one of those things. Like I said, and I call him Pop, and I said, Pop, you're going to be on a bush hog and I'm going to need to get a hold of you. Somebody is going to need to know where you are. And he goes, oh, I don't need one of them things. Well, we got him one. He didn't get a choice. And of course, it's a flip phone. I would never try to explain an iPhone or anything to him. But now that he has one, he don't leave home without it. It stresses him out if he doesn't have it. Like it's his lifeline to whatever. But other than that, I think the technology, he understands that it's needed and that it helps us, things such as GPS, the old myth is you can plant more in a crooked row, which is certainly just a myth. So with the advancements of GPS and, all the things that we do every day pretty much is technology. So I think he sees it as a benefit, but he wants nothing to do with it.
Fair enough.
Yes.
So you won't have him monitoring the sensors or whatever it is.
Oh goodness, no. We put him in as little as possible anymore. But he's still very, very much an asset. Don't get me wrong. We would have nothing if it wasn't for his. He lived through the 80s with farming, and that in and of itself is a testament to anybody in agriculture. But so we wouldn't have anything without that man. But sometimes. He just needs to ride around and watch us. That's what he needs to do. So,
yeah, no, it's just fascinating to imagine a person who started this farm and have to live through such a transition.
I mean, he's seen everything. He has been in a 2-row combine harvesting corn. Now we really kind of have it made. We sit in air conditioned cabs and they're pressurized, so the noise is less and. Like it's really advancements and it's comfort. And he just kind of throws his hands and he's like, well, that's not how we did it. And I was like, thank God that's not how we do it anymore. So
we got to get him on the pod.
He would definitely be, we did a series or a video in, I believe it was 2020 or 2021. And it ended up on RFD TV. And I mean, he said it the best. He's like, it doesn't matter what advancements we do. Like, we farm for family. We farm to keep doing what we've done for 100 years. So,
yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's so good. Okay, don't let me take up your entire day and
you're fine.
enjoying this conversation. Jeff, to come to you to take us home, any takeaways or lessons learned from this deployment that you'll apply as you continue this rural build out or rural-ish build out, as we've discovered in terms of where Jennifer's located? Any final lessons learned or things you want to share about this deployment?
Sure. Yeah. So, we've built 2,800 homes and businesses in Warren County, which is over 250 miles of network.
Wow.
And as I alluded to earlier, we're building across the country. So anytime you do anything on a repetitive basis, you learn and you get better. And so every day we're learning to get more efficient at what we do and deliver broadband faster to people like Jennifer and her family. As you can tell, it's critical to what they do, and it's truly improved their business and their way of life. We're excited to be deploying these products and services across the country. We've got a 100% US-based workforce. I'm proud of the work that my team does. And, while we're a national company, we cover 41 states, we are very local. So we have over 3,000 employees in Kentucky. And, we're in the communities where we work. So we're part of the excitement and the growth, and proud to be part of the movement here.
Excellent. Well, it has been a real pleasure for me to get to hear about this project and your farm, Jennifer. Good luck with everything. Thank you both so much for taking the time this morning to chat with me on a Monday morning. I really appreciate it, and I hope we'll get to chat soon.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you again, Jennifer and Jeff, for joining me. Thank you as well to Pierre Landriau for editing this episode. Be sure to subscribe to the Light Reading Podcast for more episodes of The Divide, as well as interviews and insights from the Light Reading team. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.